Hi, my name is JLeach, and I've been working on exit cards this year with my third graders at Charlotte Central School. And it's been kind of an adventure as I explored good times of the day to use them and which subjects really lend themselves to exit cards and which subjects I needed to think a little bit more creatively about one question or one idea that I could pull from a lesson that was really the target task that I was hoping kids would get out of it. We've tried them at the beginning of lessons, we've tried them at the ends of lessons, and depending on where I put them in my day kind of targets how I want to use them, whether that be just as a check-in to start our lesson to see what do you remember from yesterday and can we use that as a starting point to then have a class discussion, or at the end to see do they really understand expanded notation or do they really understand the 3 types of rocks, as a pull way for me to kind of plan where my next day might start for my lesson. And then sometimes it's just a check-in so the kids can say, wow, this is really hard for me, or I really understand where this is going. And it's a self-check-in for them, and then they'll partner up and say, how did it go for you? How did it go for you? And then they do the direction of, I think we need to practice more on whatever it might be that we're working on, or I kind of got that, did you get it? And then we know we can move on to the next idea. So we use them for really informal purposes with partners, by ourselves. Sometimes I just have them do it and then turn it in and I check it over and see how it's going to direct my instruction the next day. I've tried it a lot of different ways since I've kind of just been exploring it this year.
That's great. So we're toward the end of the year now.
Yep.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And so summer will go by, you'll get refreshed, you'll have next year. What are maybe some lessons learned you from exploring and trying this out? Any thoughts as you head into next year? Okay, here's some ways that I'll approach this.
I've definitely found that keeping it simple is a great place to start with exit cards. 1 question, maybe 2. Keeping it really present on whatever the one idea, the one main focus of my lesson was. Keep it about that because it gives me really informative information of I taught that in a way that was really effective, or hey, they really didn't get it, what I was hoping they would get out of that, we need to revisit it tomorrow. And the size of the paper seems to impact their thinking about it a little bit. We use really small, it's a third of a paper, and they see that as like this really informal, non-threatening check-in, as opposed to even if it was 1 question on a big piece of paper, they're like, whoa, quiz, or they like to call them tests, even though it's 1 question. So that seemed to impact just their thought process behind what we were doing. And then, just kind of the way that you frame it, whether it's, hey, we're going to start our lesson today seeing what you remember from yesterday, which is kind of fun, or we're going to see what you know, and then you get to partner up. They love using them with partners and saying, this is what I got, is that what you got? Just kind of the way that you frame how you're going to use it and letting them know beforehand. It's not an assessment, so there's no reason to be secretive about it. I'll say, we're going to just turn this in and I'm going to see how you're doing, or we're going to use these with partners, or it's just for you today.